Welcome back, scholars. Today we are continuing looking at summaries. However, this time we are looking at summarizing literary text instead of informational. So yesterday's lesson 21, was about informational, and now we're looking at stories. So just like yesterday, our summary still needs to be objective or free of our own opinion. By the way, we're starting on page 77 of our iReady book. Sorry about that. And it says here, to study these images about a time traveler, look for details about character, setting, and events. So we know that these are the exposition, and then the events are the plot. So a summary needs to include the setting, character, and the plot. The year is 1906. Artemis sets his time machine for the year 2056. Only to discover that the future isn't what he had hoped it would be. Now review the graphic organizer, blah, 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 right? So we have our characters. There's a time traveler, that's Artemis. We have a town at two different periods. It's 1906 and 2056. The time traveler from the past hops into his time machine. That's here. He journeys to the future. He finds his town destroyed. That's up there. And then our summary just puts all these four ideas together. So it says, a time traveler journeys to the future with a time machine and finds that his town has been destroyed. And at the bottom, what they think is a great tip is something you guys have been doing since 6th grade. It says it's not just a way for you to describe a story to others. It can be a tool to help you understand what you're reading. Stop occasionally to summarize what has happened. AKA gist. We've been doing that since forever. It's a totally valid strategy. There's your proof. Moving on. So on 78. Touchdown on Spectra Omicron 8. This just in. The UFP Ulysses vessel has touched down on the planet Spectra 8. So I know that I'm looking for the setting, the characters, and the plot. And the planet Spectra 8, what the heck is that? It's a made-up planet because this is science fiction. So I'm going to be thinking about House of Scorpion, the book that we read this year that is also science fiction. So the UFP Ulysses vessel, I'm going to guess that's a spaceship because then we're going to a planet. This signifies the first stage in its terraforming expedition. The complex multi-stage terraforming process will make Spectra's atmosphere more like that of Earth and livable for humans. So again, we need to practice our gisting because this is crazy. So here, and a lot of this is made up, right, because it's science fiction. So here, our gist can be something like, the spaceship discovers or touches down, goes to, let's do that. The spaceship goes to a new planet to change the atmosphere. Captain Jane Young, captain, that's an important person, and her crew of 21 blasted off in May of 2218, setting, that's our time period, for the 6-year journey through deep space to reach the lifeless planet. It's a description of the setting. They encountered a number of problems along the way. First, they were stuck in the gravitational pull of an antimatter black hole. So I see a list, I keep track. They were stuck. They also had to deal with a salmonella outbreak in the ship's food storage. Salmonella is a foodborne illness, like back in the day for omnivores. We learned about E. coli when that little kid Kevin died. So this is salmonella, which is similar to that. And here, our gist is they dealt with many challenges. In October of this year, again, that's another time period, the Ulysses established orbit. Lieutenant Bobby Sullivan piloted the vessel toward the planet's surface. He set the angle of entry so the ship would not burn up when passing through the atmosphere. After securing visual confirmation of the landing site, Sullivan deployed a landing gear, applied the thrusters, and brought the ship in for a soft 3-point landing. and then we're going to pause here. Let's do our gist. So the lieutenant, abbreviated LT, safely parked, like you park a car, parked the spaceship. And down here, it's asking us, how can we summarize this part of the story? This part in this case is this entire text, because as you keep going, this is the other part. So when they say part, they mean this part. And what I said on your blue sheets is you can combine these gists. As long as you're making sure that you have the setting, characters, and plot, you can write a pretty simple summary by looking at your gists. So here we go. The example is, in the year 2218, the Ulysses sets off on a really dangerous mission to begin the terraforming of planet Spectra 8. They have to deal with some scary problems along the way, but they finally reach the planet. The most interesting part is how pilot Bobby Sullivan brings the ship in for a safe landing. And again, this summary is trash, right? Because they included their opinion. So we have to keep track and make sure that we are getting rid of any opinion. So we have to cross out really dangerous, scary, and most interesting, because again, this is not a review. Okay, moving on, here we go. Page 79. I'll put this over this way. Now that the Ulysses has landed, it's time for Young, remember Young is the captain, and her team to begin exploring the planet's surface. Spectra Omicron 8 is a little more than loose rocks of red clay. One of Captain Young's top priorities is establishing the Ulysses base camp with its many domed sections. I'm just going to draw that a little bit because that is hard to keep track of. With so much carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, oxygen corridors must be built to connect the domes, that's their goal, which will be used for farming, geological research, and communications. A molten carbon drill will then be constructed in the camp center to burrow through to the planet's core, carrying the terraforming unit that will aid in surface reconstruction. So here, let's write a quick gist. We have our character here, we have our setting here, and we have our plot kind of here. They're exploring the surface, and then if we keep skimming, it seems like that's about all that happens here. So in our gist, we need something about, or in our summary, we need something about the captain, where she is, and what she's doing. So our gist here is just going to be that the captain, again, I just abbreviated it because it's a gist, it's not a whole short response. The captain lands on Mars, or not Mars, excuse me, whew, Spectra Omicron, to begin exploring. And that's our gist. When you are answering this question in the Google form, make sure that you are doing the summary for just this portion of the text. So in this case, it's just this section. Okay. As usual, if you are feeling good, you are welcome to stop following along here. If you would like more read aloud, please click the next video, and then we are going to be starting on page 80 and going to 84. Please stop at 84. In the regular book, right here is an essay. You're not working on that. We're stopping at 84. And you also, just so you know, do not have to do this weird ranking thing. I'm not into that. Okay? Other than that, have a lovely evening or day or morning. Guess we'll see what happens. Stay safe. Make good choices. Bye.